So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. It's about 5 a.m. on Friday. I let the fire go out last night. It was really cooking in here, but we're going to get things cranked up again. We're coming right out of the gate with red oak. So in the last video, I told you we were expecting an ice storm. That never materialized. Yesterday, we just had rain all day long. It stayed at around 34, 35 degrees, so no ice. Now, Hannah and Tyler, they live in State College, PA. They got a bunch of ice and some snow, but nothing here. But it was a big mess. But I got to tell you a funny story about last night. But first, I'll show you what I got done last night here in the garage. I got some more of this pine up here. I think I was to right about here somewhere. That went real nice and easy. The only stuff that takes time for me is like cutting around the outlets and then having to rip down boards and things like that. But once you get past that point, the rest of it goes really fast. I hope tonight to get this all tied in up here and over that doorway and the rest of that wall right there. Hope we can get to that tonight. So last night, it was probably 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and it was pouring down rain, and we just finished dinner, and I'm sitting in the house, and I hear a siren down the road, like from an emergency vehicle. And I kind of look out the window, I don't see anything, and then our driveway alarm goes off, so I go outside, and it was the UPS man, and he asked me what was going on. He said, there's tons of fire trucks and stuff down the road. I said, I have no idea, I hope everything's okay. And then it sounded like they were getting closer. And then the neighbors start calling, asking if everything's okay here. I'm like, yeah, everything's fine here. So I'm looking down the road, and the dogs are barking, and Hunter's getting upset. He doesn't like when the dogs bark. I told you the other day, if you cough or sneeze, he doesn't like that. Same thing applies if the dog barks. I think it startles him. But anyway, the dogs are going crazy. Hunter's getting mad, and here comes this whole line of fire trucks, and their sirens are just blaring, and police, ambulance, the whole 9 yards, but they're moving real slow. And I'm sitting there kind of scratching my head, what's going on? I checked, the building's not on fire, house isn't on fire. Well, here they got a rollback with Santa Claus on it. I had no idea that was a thing. Well, the fire is ripping, and by the way, we will have more fire starter available probably in about a week. And next time we put it on the website, we're going to give the West Coast guys a shot at it. What's happening is they were getting a little frustrated because we would put it on at 8 o'clock in the morning and it was sold out before they had a chance to buy any. So next time I'll kind of just throw a video up about 9 p.m. or something like that to give the West Coast guys an opportunity to get some. Next up, more sanding. All right, I got 9 16-footers, sanded, pre-stained, and stained. We'll let this dry, and I'll come back in about an hour and a half, and we'll put a coat of poly on this. All right, next up, I've got my truck, trailer, and the LX loaded up, and we're gonna head out to the tire shop and get the rear tires loaded. Well, that was a bit of a waste of time, but all is not lost. They don't take appointments at the tire shop, and they're pretty busy. They said it'd be at least 3 hours. So I said, I'll just come back tomorrow morning as soon as they open. I'll just leave everything on the trailer, and hopefully we can get it taken care of then. They are calling for, not calling for it yet. I've heard rumors of a big snow, like on the 23rd, next week sometime, right before Christmas. I'll believe it when I see it, but to guarantee that we won't get any snow, I'll get this tractor all set up with, you know, the rear blade on it. The snow blower's on it right now. I was going to take it off today, but after hearing about some snow, maybe I figured I'll just leave it on for a few days and we'll see what happens. But that is the best way to guarantee that it's not going to snow, is to be fully prepared for it to snow. All right, we are back inside here, putting a coat of poly on these boards. And I want to show you something. Somebody commented the other day, they said, don't wipe your brush on the side of the can, because you will introduce bubbles into the brush and onto the wood. Now, I've heard people say that before, and I have to say, I think they're right. I mean, there's not a huge difference. I don't know if you can see that. There's still some bubbles, but you can kind of brush them out. I actually think that works. I wasn't too sure when I read it. The only downside is you kind of spill a little bit. So as long as your can is on what you're staining, not the end of the world. But look, you can see there's still a lot of bubbles there, but they seem to brush out a little bit better. I don't know. I'm definitely not a professional finisher by any means, but it's coming out pretty good. And I was thinking, by the time I'm done with all this tongue and groove in here, I'm gonna know what I'm doing. I shouldn't say that. It's coming out good. I know what I'm doing. I'm just slow at it compared to somebody that does it every day. So I should say, when I'm all done, there, look, I just wiped it on the side of the can. When I'm all done, I don't know. There's still bubbles and they still brush out. Now I'm convincing myself the other way. I don't know. But yeah, when I'm all done with this tongue and groove, I'll definitely be faster at it. You can sail right along until you get around light switches and doors and windows, and especially things with multiple cuts. Like over by the man door coming in, you know, you're around the light switch, the door, you're ripping, you're cutting sections out. That's what slows me up quite a bit. Now this stuff here, it's not going to be dry enough to put it up tonight, but I think what I'll do, the smart thing to do, I'll come over here, I'll move all these out of the way. They'll be dry enough to move, put them over in the garage side, and I'll lay 9 more 16-footers out here and get them all ready, and try to get ahead of the game a little bit. So as soon as we're done with this, we're actually going to sit down for a minute and we'll have a little chat. Had a few things on my mind lately. Normally I don't do videos like that, but I think it'll be good. So just going to sit down here, take a little break. Kind of nice. Outside it's not so nice. It's about 35 degrees, like a light drizzle on and off, and things are kind of a mess. But yeah, it's nice just to sit down once in a while. This has kind of a Wrangler Star vibe to it. He's always sitting by the wood burner. That must be a West Coast thing, just kind of sitting around. But anyway, the other day I was reading a comment, a bunch of comments, and one of them was from a guy. We were working down at the wood yard, and he said something along the lines of, everything everything you got's a big mess and I need to get organized and I need serious help or something. It was no big deal. It didn't bother me at all. And I replied to him, you know, you got to break a few eggs to make an omelet. But, you know, sometimes you self-evaluate a little bit, especially early on when I started this channel. And like I've always said, 99% of the people are very nice, very supportive, very kind, normal, sane people. But you always get these comments from some people. And early on, when you're kind of getting used to this YouTube thing, you didn't really take them to heart, but you would step back and kind of self-evaluate a little bit and think to yourself, does this guy have a point? And it didn't take long. I realized, no, they don't have a point. I'm not talking about being disorganized. I just mean in general, some comments, there's just people out there that like to make nasty comments. But this guy, I don't think he meant anything by it or anything like that. And it got me thinking about being better organized. And I thought to myself, who do I know that's very, very organized? You know, they have everything in their spot, everything in their place. And I know a guy lives just down the road. He retired about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years ago. And you walk in this guy's garage. I mean, he's got, it's not a big garage, but you walk in, every nut, bolt, nail, tool, everything has its place. You can find everything instantly. And he has a really nice setup. He spent a lot of time getting things that organized. And I thought, boy, it'd be nice to be that way someday. I don't know how he does it. And then I realized, because he doesn't do anything else. And there's nothing wrong with that. They enjoy their retirement. Him and his wife stay very active and do a lot of different things. But it's just no comparison to what we do around here. I always have something going on. I know I have probably too much going on in some people's eyes. In my eyes, probably not enough. I don't know what it is. I stay busy all the time, and if I don't, I'll go crazy. And I don't mean that as a figure of speech. I think I would literally go crazy if I didn't have something to do each and every day. You know, when I think about it, I'm 56 years old right now, and when we first started off, you know, we were broke for a lot of years, and worked very hard, traveling out of town, always had side jobs, different things going on, and always just kind of moving forward and trying to get ahead. And I know, I didn't like that. I did not like not having money and struggling, and we did it for a lot of years. And I think part of that is what my drive is today, why I always feel that I need to be doing something else, or I want to be doing more. I think that's part of it. The other part is our family. You know, you try to build something and something to pass down to your kids. And, you know, now we have Levi working for us full time. And that's a result of everything that we've put in place over the last couple years. And it's just good stuff. But I definitely like staying busy. At some point, you know, it would be nice to be a little bit better organized. I don't think it's that bad. Now, my desk, that is a different story. It's a mess. I don't really care much about that, though. Just sit down at the computer to edit. I have 2 computers. One for editing. It's pretty well cleaned up and spotless. Got all my cameras, all my batteries, all that kind of stuff. I edit right there. It's nice and clean. Then I have another desk with a big desktop computer. It's kind of a mess. I work from it all the time, you know, paying bills and emails and things like that. But Melissa actually got me a new computer for my birthday, which was about a month and a half ago. And it's not even set up yet. She wanted to set it up. I said, no, I'm going to clean this desk all up, get everything organized, straightened out, and I'll set the new computer up. And I just have not had the time to do so. I think I'll start editing on that computer, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. But back to what I was talking about, you know, being organized and having the time to do it. Some people can probably, you know, both be organized and stay real busy, but everybody's different. You know, I got another friend I went to school with. We were good friends back in the day. I hadn't seen him for years. And he got out of school and he worked a job for like 30 years, got a pension, and he retired the day that he could. He was a few years older than me. retired the day that he could, and it's like seeing Sasquatch if you see him outside doing anything now. You know, he'll cut his grass, and he takes care of his place real nice, but he just doesn't do anything. He doesn't go anywhere, doesn't do anything. I think they vacation once a year or whatever, things like that. And that's just wonderful if that's what you're into. Part of me thinks it would definitely be the easiest route to go, but easier is not always better, at least in my opinion. If I wanted easy, what I could do, you know, we have a big piece of property here. We have property in West Virginia. The easiest thing for me to do would be just sell a bunch of land, sell the stuff in West Virginia, and just sit back and relax and do nothing the rest of my life. We could do that at this point, finally. And it wasn't like that for years. But like I said, it would drive me crazy. I always feel that I have to be doing something else and looking down the road for something else to do. It's just the way I am. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And I also don't think there's anything wrong with retiring and sitting around watching TV. Whatever you want to do is good. It's just each and every person is different. It's just the way it is. A lot of times what I do is definitely create more work for myself. Once again, I don't mind. I think next year we're probably going to be doing that in a big way. The whole family, Eva, Levi, Kate, Melissa, Hannah's in State College right now. That's where she lives. But the whole family and the grandkids are wanting some animals, goats, cows, that kind of thing. That may be something that we do next year. We'll have to see how that goes. What I was thinking, we'll pick a couple acres of property somewhere. I'm watching the chickens out there. Pick a couple acres of property out there somewhere. We'll clear all the trees, make some pasture, take some of the white pine from down in West Virginia, build a few outbuildings and things like that, little barns and stuff. And but yeah, that may be something we do. And once again, it'll be more work for everyone, but hopefully it will be rewarding. But like I said, easier, in my opinion, is not always better. I always have people tell me it would be easier if you did that. It would be easier if you do this. And I get that. And there's little tricks here and there that can speed up monotonous work. But easy is not always what I'm looking for. Sometimes the most rewarding things, in my opinion, in life are some of the most difficult things to do. And speaking of the property in West Virginia, I need to get down there in the next couple days. It's near a small town, and I actually heard on the news the other day, they're talking about the weather, and they got a ½ inch of ice the other day. So I'm anxious to see what that did to some of the trees. They should be okay, but pine trees aren't big fans of a lot of ice, can break a lot of limbs and things off. We'll have to see. One of the neighbors down there, where I find white pine that was like broken off, the whole top broke off and things like that. He told me that was from Hurricane Sandy. He remembered it hit those pines pretty hard there, but they had a bunch of snow, bunch of wind, all that kind of stuff, and it did some damage. So hopefully the ice didn't do too much, give too much trouble to the trees down there. The last thing I want to talk about is the cabin for West Virginia. That'll be first thing in the spring. We need a little bit more work on the driveway. I need to put a drain in back there where we put the cabin. You can go back and look at those videos, but where we're going to put it, it's nice and flat. We have a little bit of a gentle, slope coming down to that point, and there's some water lays in there when you get real heavy rains, which I kind of expected that. When you have real flat ground, water's going to, accumulate there. It has nowhere to go. So we'll put a big French drain in, some more stone, and then first thing in the spring we'll get concrete with the hosses down there, pour a big pad, set that cabin in, put a septic system in, and it'll have a patio out the back, and we'll be good to go for next summer down there. I can't wait. We've been staying in hotel rooms and stuff when we go down there. We did find a nice little place in Oakland, Maryland. It's reasonable, it's clean, a little diner right there. It's kind of a nice place to stay. But I think that's about it. So I'm just sitting here rambling. I'm starting to get pretty hot, to tell you the truth. But I think it's about it for today's video. I appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.